U.S. ethanol exports continued an upward trajectory in February, expanding 16%, while shipments of DDGs experienced a slip during the same time period. And that's according to the latest trade data from the Renewable Fuels Association. Renewable Fuels Association senior analyst Ann Lewis joins us now for an update. Ann, thank you so much for being here. So U.S. ethanol exports are up in the month of February, about 41% higher than a year ago. Now, speak to the spike in these numbers and what you're seeing.
Hi, Suzanne. Thanks for having me. So as you mentioned, U.S. exports of ethanol intensified up 16% to 143 million gallons. So this is the second highest volume of exports in over a year. In November, the exports reached about 150 million gallons after several months of tepid shipments. So notably, we're looking at exports of undenatured fuel ethanol helping to boost those numbers. Over the last 20 months, the balance of exports has tipped towards shipments of denatured ethanol, which is about 60% of total exports. And in February, that changed to a little more of an even split. So the U.S. exported about 68 million gallons of undenatured ethanol and 64 million gallons of denatured ethanol. Plus, exporters sold about 11 million gallons of undenatured and denatured ethanol for non-fuel, non-beverage use. And notably, South Korea and Singapore imported record volumes of undenatured ethanol. And India imported, their imports represented about a 5-year high.
Wow. So we switch over to dried distillers grains, DDGs. How did they perform in this?
So there were about 3 countries that were responsible for purchasing half of our exports in February. Mexico increased its imports of DDGs by about 3% to over 200,000 metric tons, 200,000 metric tons, and secured its position as our top customer for the 17th consecutive month. Shipments did decline to South Korea by 18%, but exports picked up that pace by 16%. And so the other 30-odd countries, among those, the larger customers included Indonesia, Japan, Vietnam, Ireland, Israel, and Portugal purchased a record 20,000 metric tons. Noticeably, Turkey and China had a hand in lowering the DDG exports in February. So each of them slashed their U.S. imports from January by roughly 80%.
But do you think the ethanol exports, when you look at this, what course do you think this will stay? Do you think it'll consist and remain with these numbers?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We've had very strong DDG exports. For example, last year we had 11.6 million metric tons, which was the third highest record volume. And so one would hope that we would continue that. It would be interesting to see what happens with Brazil's tariff elimination in March. After several years of advocacy and diplomacy efforts, RFA and partners finally succeeded to get Brazil to eliminate the 18% tariff on U.S. ethanol for the remainder of the year. And we're scheduled to meet with Brazilian industry and government officials in May, and we're hoping that this would be an opportunity to continue discussions to pursue a long-term trading relationship.
Absolutely, and thank you so much. Of course, a lot more information to come as we look at these trade relationships. That's Renewable Fuels Association senior analyst Ann Lewis, and thank you for being here.